Port Charles is no stranger to chaos, but nothing could have prepared its citizens for the storm about to descend upon them. Secrets are bursting at the seams, alliances are shifting with every heartbeat, and the most trusted men in town are revealing dangerous truths. At the center of it all is Jason Morgan, holding explosive evidence that could dismantle everything Drew Cain has built and expose a betrayal so deep it pushes Michael Corinthos and Curtis Ashford to do the unthinkable. Buckle in for a wild, creative journey into the next chapter of General Hospital, where power, loyalty, and legacy are all on the line. Jason Morgan has always lived by a code: silent, lethal, and unwaveringly loyal to the people he protects. But even Jason has limits. And when he stumbled upon a hidden drive left behind by an old WSB informant, one who mysteriously died just weeks after Drew took over Aurora Media, Jason couldn't ignore the contents. The file included audio recordings, offshore bank transactions, and photographs that proved beyond any doubt Drew Cain had been secretly funneling WSB funds into shell companies under Aurora's name. And the kicker? He was doing it to cover up Black Ops missions sanctioned by a rogue WSB faction, the same group allegedly responsible for killing Luke Spencer. Jason, still recovering from his long disappearance and feeling emotionally disconnected from the current landscape, found himself in a moral quandary. He wasn't Drew's biggest fan, but he also didn't relish the idea of turning on his own brother. That is, until he realized who was in danger: Scout, Danny, and Sam. He went straight to Curtis. Curtis Ashford has spent the past year trying to rebuild his life post-paralysis, his marriage to Portia, and his faith in humanity. Learning the truth about Drew hit him hard, especially because they had recently begun to rekindle a brotherly friendship. Curtis knew one thing: if these allegations were true, Drew had betrayed Port Charles in a way no one could excuse. He met Jason in the back room of the Savoy, lights dimmed, bodyguards doubled. Curtis's face hardened as he listened to the audio tapes, Jason silent as ever. "He did this?" Curtis finally asked. Jason nodded. "And there's more. There's a transfer signed by Drew from a hospital account. The same one Sonny used to fund Willow's treatment. That money never made it to Germany." Curtis exhaled, then quietly replied, "I'll help you bring him down. But we'll need someone on the inside. Someone with power. Someone who won't blink." They both said the name at the same time. Michael. Michael Corinthos had fought hard to keep the Corinthos and Quartermain bloodlines clean, especially for Wiley and Amelia's sake. But with Sonny spiraling after Christina's presumed death and Willow still recovering from her illness, Michael didn't want more complications. Until Jason showed up on his doorstep. Jason didn't speak much. He let the evidence do the talking. Michael sat in stunned silence, watching footage of Drew meeting secretly with a woman linked to Victor Cassidy's late operations. The funds diverted from Aurora. The lies about donations to cancer research that were actually funneled into military-grade weapons manufacturing. Jason concluded with one line: "He put Willow and your daughter at risk." Michael's fury boiled. He had trusted Drew. He had even defended Drew when others questioned his loyalty. And now he realized Drew was using Michael as a human shield. "I'm in," Michael said. "Let's bury him." The trio, Jason, Curtis, and Michael, hatched a quiet, meticulous plan. First, Curtis used his PI skills to locate two WSB whistleblowers living in hiding under false identities. One of them, Lena Voskov, was a former cybersecurity chief who'd hacked into Drew's system under WSB orders. She agreed to testify in exchange for immunity and protection. Next, Michael leveraged his YLQ authority to demand an audit of Aurora's financial history. At the same time, he hired Brooke Lynn, unbeknownst to Drew, to run a PR refresh campaign, giving her access to records Drew believed were locked away. Then Jason did the unthinkable. He approached Sam. Jason hadn't seen Sam in months. Their history was always tangled in love and loss, but when he revealed what he had, Sam's hands trembled. "This can't be real," she whispered. "Drew's not like this. He wouldn't steal from Willow." Jason placed his hand gently over hers. "He already has." Sam, crushed and conflicted, agreed to help. She began feeding Jason intel, everything Drew did, every late-night meeting, every time he slipped away from the office under the radar. As Sam's betrayal deepened, so did her emotional collapse. She began doubting her ability to protect Scout. Her guilt tore her up. But she knew if she didn't help now, the consequences could destroy everyone. Drew Cain isn't a fool. He sensed tension. Michael was too quiet. Curtis too polite. And Jason? His reemergence in Port Charles was never just a coincidence. He hired his own private investigator to follow them, and what he discovered stunned him. Curtis had spoken with Lena Voskov. Sam had broken into his encrypted files. And Jason had access to a USB drive that could end it all. Furious, Drew took bold action. He staged a break-in at the Savoy, hoping to scare Curtis into silence. He threatened Brooklyn, hinting at exposing Chase's past. And worst of all, he tried to kidnap Lena. That's when everything unraveled. Jason arrived just in time. At an old warehouse near the docks, Lena had been tied up. Drew stood over her, gun in hand, his face torn between desperation and cold fury. But as he raised the weapon, Jason stepped into the light. "You're done." "What are you doing, Jason?" Drew asked. "This doesn't have to go down like this. You've already made your choice." Curtis and Michael stormed in behind him, Curtis holding a stun gun, Michael armed with legal warrants and a security detail. Lena was freed. Drew tried to escape, but was taken down by Jason in a brutal fight that left both men bloodied and breathless. As police sirens approached, Jason whispered, "You used to be my brother. Now you're just another name on the wrong side of the list." Drew was arrested. The charges? Embezzlement, racketeering, attempted kidnapping, and obstruction of justice. He was denied bail due to being a flight risk. Lena Voskov's testimony sealed his fate. The entire WSB-funded Black Ops initiative was exposed, implicating not just Drew, but remnants of Victor's network that had survived his death. Michael was hailed a hero by the Quartermaines, but the emotional toll was steep. He'd had to choose between family and integrity, and lost a piece of himself in the process. Curtis reclaimed his reputation. With the truth on his side, he gained new support from the Peace PD and re-established his private security firm, which quickly became the go-to investigative agency in Port Charles. Sam was shattered. Her daughter would now grow up with a father behind bars, and her own conscience wouldn't let her rest. Jason disappeared again, leaving only a note for Michael. "You did what was right. That's what matters. Take care of them." Weeks later, as Drew's trial began, a mysterious letter arrived at Alexis Davis's office. Inside was a photo of a living WSB agent thought long dead, the same man who trained Drew in his early days with the Navy SEALs. The letter read, "If you think Drew Cain acted alone, you're not paying attention." As Alexis stared in disbelief, the camera panned to a man in a black coat walking past Pier 47. The takedown of Drew Cain was only the beginning. Port Charles now faces a new threat, remnants of the WSB, Peter's shadowy agenda, and questions that could fracture what little peace remains. Jason may be gone again, but the war he started has only just begun. Stay tuned, the next storm is coming.